Howdy Howdy, this is Clara Lawrence. We're going to mess with two new colors today. We've got an African violet color, and then this is a dark gray, which I thought would be a nice combination of the two. And then for our metallic that I'm bringing in, this is kind of, I'm calling these essence colors. So this is my copper essence, and it should give floaty bits of copper everywhere. So I'm going to just kind of swatch out all these colors here so we can get an idea of what we're dealing with. So this is the violet, and I probably put a little bit too much, but that's okay. So it's a nice red violet kind of color. It just kind of reminded me of African violets, that's why I called it that. You know, coming up with names of colors is not that easy. So, you would think it'd be easy, but it's not. Especially if you start looking at like all the blues and you're like, okay, so what kind of blue is this kind of blue? Oh dear. Yeah. This is it's just a dark gray. Very simple, but we always need a couple different tones of grays. I'm going to have a warm gray and a cool gray also, because there are times we need both. So this is neutral. This is right smack dab in the middle. Just a gray. Okay, and then this is my copper, which should be fun. I'm going to go ahead and make this a little bit larger so you can see the sprinkles. And I'm going to have a variety of metallics, like the coppers and silvers and golds, so that way you can have a variation to choose from. You want to bring it in a little closer here, and I can move the paper around. They can see the shimmer of the copper on. So these are similar to alcohol inks, but they're made out of a dye instead of an ink. These dyes are very friendly with resin products. I play with a lot of, I don't know why I'm putting the lids on. I play with a lot of multiple layers of different mediums, and resin's usually included in my projects, so that is why I am working with these alcohol dyes. All right. Let's do some on a larger piece, just to see how the colors interact together a little bit. How's that? Okay, and the solution I'm adding is just an alcohol, 91% alcohol, just to have some movement. And alcohol dyes and inks move around similar to like watercolors, where they need water to move the colors. Give them a shake. Maybe 2 or 3. I bet the ball was up there.
There it is.
Squirt. We'll do a little copper for right now. There you go. That'll lighten up a little bit. And I usually do an initial run, but this is just my process. Where I throw some color down, see how I like what's happening, and then I build from there. Probably put on a little bit too much alcohol today, but that's okay. Now you can always get a paper towel to soak some of it up if you think you've got too much. But I think I'm going to do that. Soak up some of this alcohol. I overdid it. And that's all right. I like to show what to do if you get too much on there. because we all run into those issues. But I am going to put more color. Just not so much alcohol. That is exactly what's happening. That little ball is getting there. I've got little BB balls in here just to try to help with the mixing of the colors. And I think it's going into the little nozzle.
Whoops.
That's all right. At least they're doing their job, right? That's to help with the mixing. I just repeated myself a bunch. That's all right. So my colors around a little bit. Just to get the process started. You can see the floating bits of copper in there, which are really pretty already. I like to put a little bit in the beginning because you can always add more when you have an area that you really, really like. But it's hard to take away. It's one of those things that can take over. You got to be very mindful of metallics. And I'm going to have some colors that are made from mica powders, and those will kind of add a metallic sheen all over, so they will behave a little bit differently. All right, let's do this. Now, when I add colors afterwards, I will usually deposit a couple drops, and then I might do a line of alcohol just so that way it knows what kind of pathway to follow, because that area will be wet, so to speak. I'll create a little river. And then I usually will move the color back and forth a little bit so that I can reactivate any of the other color underneath it. And that way they can blend together a little bit more and make it look like it's supposed to be there. Let's see. Bring in some dark. A lot of dark. So however you position your dryer will depend on how the ink moves. If you come in from over top, you can dry it very gently, very slow. The color won't move hardly at all. If you go to the side, it'll kind of give it slow pressure from the side. Or even at an angle, it'll give it a lot more stronger pressure, and you'll start to get little tentacles. Alright, I'm going to make some thin lines of copper going through it. Let's see. Ever so gently, kind of pushing it down the little river here. I think I might keep that description. River. Seems to make sense.
I like it.
All right, let's see if I can build up little bit of contrast here. Just to give it a little bit more drama.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm gonna work on lightening up this area here and maybe even add a couple little sprinkles of copper just to get something over here. You gotta be careful that this is still a little bit wet. And it's gonna reactivate this just a little bit and soften that up. It's a little bit more dramatic there with the softening, like that. There you go. What do you think?
There you go. Looking nice.
Which is just copper only. I think I'm gonna leave it here. It's very simple, but I kind of like it. What do you guys think? Want me to change the angle?
Sure.
Good. Does that help with the copper? It's got a real nice float on the surface kind of sheen to it, which I love with some colors with resin, and this offers the same thing. So, okay, with all the color dyes and alcohol dyes or even alcohol inks, I'd recommend sealing them, especially on a lot of my products, because I'm going to have mica powders and other things in there. So, even going to mess around with chameleons and such. So, use an archival spray, a matte. Can they see that? A matte archival spray or even a clear matte, but matte's the key phrase. A lot of glosses will reactivate inks and dyes, so that'll be no good. And I usually do a couple of light coats and then I usually end up coating it with resin. So, all right. Thank you guys for hanging out with me. Check out my website, ClaraLawrence.com. I'm going to have some alcohol dyes, some fun shirts, and some artwork available. So, yeah, check us out.